Ever wondered which country has the most islands globally? It's Sweden, with a staggering 267,570 islands. A nation brimming with surprises, Sweden's story is one of rich history, captivating culture, and breathtaking natural beauty. From the ancient beginnings to the modern era, we are about to embark on a journey through time, exploring the vast landscapes, the vibrant traditions, and the remarkable innovations that make Sweden truly unique. Are you ready to take a deep dive into the history of this fascinating country? Here we go. Sweden's history dates back to the end of the last ice age. These early chapters of Swedish history were characterized by the migration of various tribes, with the indigenous Sami people settling in the far north, while the southern regions were inhabited by Germanic tribes. These diverse tribes lived off the land, hunting, fishing, and farming, in harmony with the seasons. Then came the age of the Vikings, a seafaring people known for their exploration, trade, and sometimes their fierce raids. The Viking Age, which spanned from the late 8th to the early 11th century, had a profound impact on Sweden's cultural and societal development. From the elaborate rune stones they left behind to their democratic assembly known as the Thing, the Vikings' influence is still visible in Sweden today. From the Vikings, Sweden moved towards a more organized society, which leads us to the Middle Ages. The Middle Ages brought significant changes to Sweden. This period, stretching from the 11th to the late 15th century, was marked by a profound transformation in the nation's spiritual, political, and social landscapes. Christianity was introduced to the region, replacing the Old Norse belief systems. This shift in religious ideology had a profound impact on Swedish culture, influencing its art, literature, and societal norms. Around the same time, the Swedish kingdom was formed, centralizing power and marking the start of a unified nation. This consolidation of control paved the way for Sweden's future expansion and influence in the region. However, the Middle Ages were not without their trials. The Black Death, one of the most devastating pandemics in human history, swept across Sweden in the 14th century, causing immense suffering and loss. Despite these challenges, the Middle Ages set the stage for a period of great expansion known as the Swedish Empire. In the 17th century, Sweden emerged as one of the great European powers. This period, often referred to as the Swedish Empire, was marked by military successes and territorial expansions that pushed Sweden's borders far beyond their current limits. At the height of its power, the Swedish Empire stretched across the Baltic Sea, encompassing modern-day Finland, Estonia, Latvia, and parts of Germany, Poland, and Russia. Sweden's military might was largely due to the innovative tactics and strategies of its commanders, such as Gustavus Adolphus, often hailed as one of the greatest military leaders in history. However, as with many empires, the Swedish Empire's peak was followed by a period of decline. Despite initial successes, a series of costly wars and political missteps led to the loss of much of its territory. The empire's fall was marked by the Great Northern War, which ended in 1721 and drastically reduced Sweden's influence in Europe. The decline of the empire led to a period of enlightenment and reform in Sweden, setting the stage for the nation we know today. The 18th and 19th centuries were a time of great change for Sweden. This was an era marked by the Age of Liberty, the Gustavian era, and sweeping industrialization and social reforms. The Age of Liberty, which spanned from 1712 to 1772, was a period of parliamentary governance and freedom of the press. This period saw a significant shift in power from the monarchy to the nobility and the emerging bourgeoisie, who capitalized on these newfound liberties to establish their influence in the political landscape. The Gustavian era soon followed, ushering in a time of enlightenment and the rule of Gustav III, who is often praised for his patronage of the arts. Despite the political tensions of this period, it was a time of cultural and intellectual flourishing, with a significant focus on literature, theater, and music. The 19th century marked a time of rapid industrialization, transforming Sweden from an agrarian society into a burgeoning industrial power. This was a time of great social change, driven by a wave of technological innovations and a growing urban population. Sweden's cities were expanding. factories were buzzing, and the Swedish people were on the move. But these changes did not come without their challenges. The rapid pace of industrialization brought about a variety of social issues, such as urban overcrowding, poor working conditions, and widespread poverty. These issues prompted a wave of social reforms aimed at improving the lives of the Swedish people. The late 19th century saw the implementation of key reforms in education, healthcare, and labor laws. These reforms included the introduction of compulsory primary education, improved healthcare services, and the establishment of labor unions to protect workers' rights. These reforms laid the foundation for the modern, progressive Sweden we know today. They were the stepping stones that paved the way for Sweden's transformation into a global leader in social welfare, gender equality, and human rights. From the Age of Liberty to the Gustavian era and through the industrialization and social reforms of the 19th century, Sweden has consistently sought to innovate, adapt, and improve, shaping the nation into the dynamic, progressive country we see today. The 20th century brought new challenges and opportunities for Sweden. As the world was shaken by the tumultuous events of the world wars, Sweden adopted a stance of neutrality, a policy that the country has largely maintained to this day. This neutrality allowed Sweden to avoid the devastation that ravaged much of Europe. But it was not without its trials. The country had to balance its commitment to peace with the economic and political pressures of a world at war. In the post-war era, Sweden embarked on an ambitious project to create what is now known as the Swedish welfare state. This was a comprehensive system of social security and public services designed to ensure a high standard of living for all Swedes. The Swedish model emphasized the values of equality, fairness, and shared responsibility. It included universal healthcare, free education, and generous parental leave policies, setting a standard for social welfare that many countries aspire to emulate. In the latter half of the 20th century, Sweden continued to play an active role on the international stage. In 1995, Sweden joined the European Union, deepening its integration with its European neighbors. While this decision was met with some controversy at home, it has allowed Sweden to influence and contribute to the shaping of policies that extend beyond its borders. Sweden's commitment to sustainability and innovation has also become a defining feature of the country in the 20th century and beyond. Swedish inventors, researchers, and startups are at the forefront of industries such as clean energy, transportation, and healthcare. Sweden is also a global leader in recycling and waste management, with an impressive 99% of household waste being recycled or used to produce energy. In the realm of culture, Sweden has made significant contributions to literature, film, and music. Authors such as Astrid Lindgren and Stieg Larsson, and filmmakers like Ingmar Bergman have left an indelible mark on global culture. Sweden's music scene is equally vibrant, producing internationally acclaimed acts in genres ranging from pop and rock to classical and folk music. Today, Sweden continues to be a beacon of innovation, sustainability, and social equality. Its history, culture, and policies provide a fascinating study of a country that has navigated the complexities of the modern world with remarkable success. So, there you have it, a whirlwind tour of Sweden's fascinating history. We've journeyed from the ancient beginnings of this Scandinavian gem, when nomadic tribes first set foot on this land, through the tumultuous Middle Ages with its castles and knights, and on to the era of the Swedish Empire, where Sweden emerged as a significant European power. We've witnessed the nation's transformation during the period of modernization and reform, where change swept across the country, shaping it into the Sweden we know today. And who could forget the thrilling journey of the 20th century and beyond, where innovation and progressive social policies have become the hallmarks of Swedish identity. From the delicious smorgasbord of Swedish cuisine to the minimalist beauty of Scandinavian design, the breathtaking natural landscapes to the rich folklore and traditions, Sweden's history is as diverse as it is captivating. We've delved into the country's leadership in technology and sustainability, its contribution to literature and film, and the strides it has made in social welfare and gender equality. We even explored the vibrant music scene and the historical landmarks that tell tales of a bygone era. And yet, there's so much more to this Nordic nation's story. There are countless more tales to be told, dishes to be tasted, and sights to be seen. Remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to discover about Sweden. Thanks for joining this historical journey. Hejda, that's goodbye in Swedish.